629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
All right, thank you very much. 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. It's a nice-looking Wednesday morning, and I hope you're doing well. And, Robin, it is time for us to talk about health.
Yay!
And usually when we talk about health, we have a doctor in the room or on the phone.
Yeah.
Today we do not.
Nope.
However, I do have some information from a doctor, and I want to begin today's discussion, and it's mostly about your heart health, but it's really about your overall health, because everybody needs healthy overall.
Yes, they do. With non-holes.
I got an interesting letter in email yesterday from a guy we both know and respect and love and all the good things. And he's up there in age, and he was very, very excited that he found this supplement. Now, before I start to sound like an infomercial, I will not be mentioning any supplement names in the course of this discussion. In fact, I'm going to do exactly the opposite. And I'm going to tell you about vegetables and fruits and seeds and nuts and things like that that are not my recommendation, but the recommendation from a book that I found online and an interview with Stephen Masley, Dr. Stephen Masley, who is the author of the book. So and let me just do my little intro before I get to that point. So the letter from our mutual friend said that he had been taken aback by the fact that his 50-something-year-old friend had died a couple of weeks ago. And this is a guy we know.
Yeah.
This isn't somebody trying to sell me anything. He's really just saying. And did you get the letter too? Did he send it to you too?
Yes.
I think okay. Send it to everybody on his list probably. And basically saying, I don't want to lose any of you. I don't want you to lose any of your loved ones. Let me tell you something I think could have saved his life. And he's basically convinced, and I'm not saying he's wrong, but I don't want to endorse any kind of a pill or a supplement unless there's actually a doctor in the room or on the phone that can confirm that.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, it was a product he believed in, and I don't know if he bought it in a health food store or online or whatever, but he mentioned it by name and in fact attached a video to the letter that I could watch that was posted on YouTube. And the video gives information from some people who disagree with the effectiveness of this supplement. One of the people who disagrees is a pharmacist we both know.
Yeah.
Susie Cohen.
Yes.
Now, the narrator of the video pronounces her last name wrong.
Yeah.
Now, many of you know Susie and her husband used to live here.
Yes.
In Ocala. And in fact, she wrote for the Chicago Tribune, but she lived here, and she would submit her stories, her column, to the Chicago Tribune. They would then syndicate it.
Yeah.
And she is known as America's pharmacist, Susie Cohen.
Right. Nationally syndicated pharmacist.
Respect her greatly. Her opinion means a lot to me. And so when I saw that this one guy, who I like a lot, was recommending a supplement, and this one woman, who I like a lot, was saying, be careful with this supplement, with the same exact supplement, I started realizing that it's kind of like everything else that we talk about on the air. There's always two sides to everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So I looked it up, and in a nutshell, what this supplement was supposed to do was to put something into your bloodstream that makes your capillaries healthier and your blood vessels healthier and your heart healthier, and you become healthier, and things return to the way they should be. In fact, the guy who wrote the letter said he was wondering if he was going to be in the wheelchair the rest of his life.
Yeah.
You go to church with him. I asked you, did you see him in a wheelchair? And you said, well, he has been in a walker.
Yeah.
Because you went to New York for a little while, so maybe you didn't see him at the worst.
Yeah.
But he's no longer in the wheelchair. I know that he was wearing oxygen last time he came in here. You said he was no longer wearing oxygen.
Right.
So obviously something improved for him.
And he does great things for the community, so he's not a fly-by-night
No,
guy.
this is a really good guy, and we love this guy and respect him. And I'm not naming him out of respect for him, even though I did this morning. But I started second thinking my doing that. But
yeah.
But the point is, we got this letter. It made a lot of sense. You look at the video makes a lot of sense, and it makes you want to go straight to your favorite health food store and buy whatever this stuff is.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Susie is on the video. Well, no, Susie's not in the video. They quote Susie.
Yeah.
Well, and they do a good job quoting her, but then they disagree with her. Okay. Because basically what Susie says is this isn't good if you're over 40.
Yeah.
And the guy who wrote the letter says, yes, it is. It's good.
He's
All right.
older than us.
So I'm not even going to speak anymore about that supplement. What I want to do is tell you what happened. I went online to see if I could find a guest to talk about this. And I have not, and I will. I promise you, I will bring somebody onto the air to talk about this. But instead, I stumbled across a doctor who I think probably has it right, simply because I think God is a genius, and I think God has figured us out way before we ever figured us out.
Yes.
Dr. Stephen Masley is the author of a book called The 30-Day Heart Tune-Up. And in the book, basically he talks about how statins may not be necessarily the best thing for you, how 90% of people who've used the advice in the book have been able to prevent heart disease better than if they had taken any pills, supplement, or otherwise. Basically, he's going to talk, and you're going to hear some sound bites from him, about fiber, fat, fish. They all start with F, by the way.
Yes, they do. Fiber.
Magnesium
fat,
does not start with F.
Oh, okay. No.
Nutrients, like which ones are good for you and everything like that. In some interviews that I found him, I was watching some interviews. He says just looking at cholesterol enough. I'm sorry, alone is not enough. And so let me play some of the sound bites that I was able to get off the internet. This is Dr. Stephen Masley, and in this one, this is where he's talking about the idea that statins don't necessarily work. Okay, can you hear it out there? Let me make sure you have your headphones on. I want to make sure you can hear everything that this guy says.
Okay.
Because basically, if you're worried about your health or concerned about your health or taking your health seriously, and you're bombarded like we all are with information from everybody under the sun trying to sell you everything under the sun, then I think I'll tell you the conclusion before we get there, before we get to the end. My conclusion is simple, that if God made it, it's probably good.
Yeah.
If God made it, it's probably, and it's edible, it's supposed to be food,
Yeah.
then it's probably good. So let me start with this one. This is where he says statins don't really work.
Cholesterol was not a very good predictor if you're growing plaque in your arteries or not. And although statins can be helpful for some, especially men, they've never been shown to be helpful for women in studies. So I think there's much more we can do with lifestyle. And without lifestyle, I don't believe statins work.
All right, now that's an important comment right there.
Right.
Lifestyle is what it's about. In other words, and I am not one to preach because I don't follow a lot of this advice that he's giving, although it resonates and it makes sense to me. And in his absence, I think that the message is really super powerful, that your lifestyle is the number one most important thing. He says if you take a statin and you don't change your lifestyle, not a whole lot's going to change. It's kind of like saying, I can help you lose weight with this rock. This rock will help you lose weight. In other words, just keep this rock in your pocket and then go on a diet and exercise and you'll lose weight.
Yeah.
Well, it has nothing to do with the rock. May not have anything to do with the statins. That's what he's saying. Let me play the next soundbite I have. This is, again, all of these soundbites are from Dr. Stephen Masley. The book that this all is based on is the 30-Day Heart Tune-Up. Listen to what he says. 90% of people will prevent heart disease better with lifestyle changes than with pills. And he kind of hinted at that, just the last piece. This is just a real short piece.
For 90% of people, we can prevent heart disease with lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point I wanted to make sure that was reiterated there. So, okay, so now we got that set, right? We understand where he's coming from. He's basically coming from the point of view that if you want to be healthy, you're going to go into the health food store and you're going to see all these supplements and all these things.
Yeah.
Now, he is in favor of vitamin D, I believe, and you'll hear that in just a second. Even though you can get it from the sun, he just feels like it's a more efficient way.
Yeah.
In today's lifestyle, we don't. And again, it goes back to lifestyle. But if you could get some time to go out there, put on your bikini.
There you go.
Not if you look like me, don't put on a bikini.
If you're a woman,
But
right?
go out there. Well, actually, I mean, he says actually wearing skimpy clothing and being out in the sun for 20 or 30 minutes a day is all you really need.
Oh, we could do that. We got sunshine here outside.
We got plenty of sunshine. No skimpy clothing for me. Thank you very much. Not unless I'm under the bed covers or something. All right. Here's the next thing. Now, this is where he's talking about the fiber. And you know when a doctor says you should have more fiber, what do they say? You should have more fiber. That's what they say.
Exactly.
Do they ever tell you what it is?
No.
All right. Well, listen to what Dr. Mastley has to say. This is Dr. Stephen Mastley.
Fiber's like really number one. Vegetable, fruit, beans, and nut. Those are the best. Those are better sources than like breakfast cereal if you have to make it into flour. So vegetable, fruit, beans, and nuts, they're awesome. They do so many things. They help us lose weight. They suppress appetite. They're good for our blood sugar, blood pressure. They slow aging.
Wow. Vegetable, fruit, beans, and nuts.
Vegetable, fruits, beans, and nuts.
Fiber.
Now, can you imagine that? That's it. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, not to be making a pun right there.
I never looked at fruit as a fiber.
Yeah.
I never have.
Yeah. Well, so
vitamin
now,
C,
so now you
that's
know
all I look at it.
lifestyle, and the right fiber, the vegetables, fruits, beans, and nuts. And lifestyle sounds kind of broad, but in other words, you're not going to want to smoke. You know, you probably want to move around a little bit more if you're sedentary like I am. And then the vegetables, fruits, beans, and nuts. Simple.
Yeah.
He makes it really simple, and he makes a really good case. And the book again is called the 30-Day Heart Tune-Up. Here's another quote from him. I want to make sure I have the right one queued up here. In this soundbite, and forgive me for only having soundbites, I wasn't able to, I just had this idea yesterday after getting this letter. So I obviously, in sending out emails to request a guest, nobody called me at 2 o'clock in the morning. I got one for you, Larry. I'll probably get it later on.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how about fat? They say fat free, right? He says, no, don't do fat free. Just make sure it's the good fat. Again,
Okay.
we're left in the dark. Well, what's the good fat?
Exactly.
Right? All right. Well, here's kind of a piece on this. This is not too long. Here's Dr. Mastley talking about fat.
We're not recommending a low-fat diet. I want healthy fat in our diet. But the body fat really did make a difference. And the two best predictors of losing weight are to eat your fiber and get fit. So if you do those, the body fat's less important and usually goes away on its own.
So you eat the fiber. You eat the 4 things, and that'll help you lose the weight because your body will turn it into the energy and get rid of the fat.
And don't forget, he said, eat your fiber and get fit.
Oh, get fit.
Eat your fiber and get fit,
Fit.
F-I-T.
Oh, okay.
In other words, eat the vegetables, fruits, beans, and nuts, and take a walk every day.
Yeah.
Or you can do more than the walk if you want, but that's what he's saying. Get fit. You know, even if you're fitter than you are now, maybe you're not going to be fit like John Bastow,
Yeah.
but you'll be fitter than now if you just do a little bit more than you do now. And I'm not
Right.
talking to you. I'm talking to me. All right.
No, I'm listening. I'm all
so
ears.
so there you go. There's another
thong.
piece of this.
I want to wear one. I can't now.
Anyway, and I'm only trying. And I'm not saying that the supplement that the guy who wrote me the letter is no good. I'm not saying that at all. First of all, I'm not a scientist. I don't know. And remember that if the fitness, just to go back to the fitness, I wanted to read you something because I don't have a soundbite on this one. The standard minimum guideline of 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days of the week is a good rule of thumb. 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days of the week.
Okay.
30 minutes most days. That seems pretty doable.
You can take a break. You don't have to do it all 7 days.
But here's a part that's going to confuse you a little bit. And if you have one of those exercise machines that are modern, I guess, there's apparently a gauge, a level on there that you can use in this next statement. What's most important is determining your fitness level. You can do this by measuring metabolic equivalents, or METs.
Oh.
METs. I don't have a device that measures METs, but if you have a newer stationary bike or a newer treadmill, there's a gauge on them apparently that can measure the METs, the metabolic equivalents. I don't know how that works out to MET.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that gauge would help you know whether you needed to intensify the physical activity, and what else? The amount of oxygen consumed in your workouts.
Now that's important.
This supplement that was mentioned in this email to me said it will put more oxygen into your blood. You have oxygen in the air. Mm-hmm. You have a body part that is designed to take that oxygen and put it into your blood. That device is called your lungs.
Right.
So in other words, the very thing that could be a key to your good health is getting more oxygen into your lungs. And how do you do that naturally? Simply by getting yourself to a point where you're breathing a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
Just by cutting the lawn, I breathe heavier.
Yes.
So by breathing heavier, you're pulling in more air. Your oxygen is increasing in your body, and that is part of it. So if you eat the fiber, again, that's the fiber is the vegetables, fruits, beans, and nuts. You limit yourself to the good fats, which basically, if you stick to the fiber recipe there, you're not going to have to worry about that anyway. And you do the things that are going to make you fit, or another way of looking at it, do the things that are going to put more oxygen into your blood simply by causing you to breathe. Mm-hmm. Breathe deeply. All right. So next thing is, the fish and the fish oil. He's a good proponent of that.
Oh, okay.
And actually, and I don't know that I have this in this particular soundbite, but and I'll just tell you this from having read what I read this morning, that he prefers fish to fish oil.
Oh, I like fish.
He prefers that you eat fish to actually eating fish oil tablets, even though he's not against fish oil tablets. I have about 22 seconds of a soundbite here. Here's what he says about fish and fish oil.
Fish and fish oil, those were very predictive. I mean, there's been some controversy, but I think what we really need is good quality and an adequate dose. When we're looking at 1,000 milligrams of EPA DHA a day, or that's like 3 servings of canned wild salmon per day if you're on a budget. That's an excellent way to help your heart, help your brain. It's incredible.
Did you hear what he said? 3 servings of canned wild salmon.
And there's a controversy about canned.
It's not in the soundbite, but he says tuna is probably not the best, but salmon is. Salmon, yes. Tuna, maybe.
Oh.
Tuna's better than nothing. Tuna's better than a Twinkie.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So there you go. There's another part of this whole puzzle. And he recommends 1,000 milligrams per day of healthy fish oils from food or supplements, but he does prefer the food. Mm-hmm. And he prefers salmon, trout, and sole to be better than the supplement. He actually feels like the fish itself is better than the fish oil pill. Mm-hmm. But if that's the only way you're going to get fish oil, he says fish oil is really a very, very good thing. Dr. Lang has said that for years.
Yeah.
Dr. Lang had said, before Dr. Lang had created the vitamin pills he would always tell you to get Alaska salmon, remember?
Yeah. He went fresh.
And then he got into the pill business, and now, he's recommending pills. But this doctor particularly says they're both good. But he prefers the actual fish.
Me too. I'd rather eat something than take a pill.
So far, if you're following this guy's diet, it's vegetables, fruits, beans, nuts, and fish. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what he said so far. Somewhere in here, by the way, he also talks about potassium as far as your heart health. So
okay.
That's in bananas, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, but in this next one, hold on, Dan. Dan, I'm doing hold on. Oh, yeah. All right. All right. The next one is where he's talking about nutrients, answers the questions which ones and how much of each one. So let me play you that soundbite.
Hundreds of patients shrink their plaque by more than 10%. That means their arteries are 10 years younger. And we looked at what nutrients predicted that, and they're the same ones. Vitamin D, essential. We need about 2,000 a day. Magnesium, a very important mineral for our heart, blood pressure, blood sugar, 400 a day. Vitamin K from green leafies, and the fiber in fish. Those are other nutrients we could think of. Those are the top critical ones.
All right, so those are the ones. I mean, if you hear what he's saying right there, it's kind of the common sense. It starts to all make sense, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you hear things like 2,000 international units a day of vitamin D, it's kind of confusing, right?
Yeah.
Put that into our terms. What did he say? Wear skimpy clothes, sit out in the sun for a half hour, and your body will automatically make this. Dan, you gotta let me do my thing here. Dan, I can't do the show when you're doing that. All right, thank you. Thank you. All right. Yay. All right. I'm sorry. All right. So now he mentioned magnesium before, right?
Yes.
So that becomes another confusing. Well, where's magnesium, right? Well, here is a little bit that he said on magnesium.
The magnesium's a little different. You know, that's a mineral, and it's really essential for our heart. In fact, if it's very low, you can actually have heart arrhythmias and die from low magnesium. So extra important. We get it from the same things that are rich in fiber: nuts, seeds, beans, green leafies. Those are great fiber sources and magnesium sources.
Hey, can I play that one again?
Yes,
I just want to play it
please.
again. Did you hear what he said?
I did.
About not only where you get it from, where do you get it from? The same things: the fruits, the beans, the vegetables, right?
Yeah, and the green leafies.
But also listen to what he says. If you don't get enough of them, if you don't get enough of them, what could happen?
You die.
Die.
Yeah.
Listen.
The magnesium's a little different. You know, that's a mineral, and it's really essential for our heart. In fact, if it's very low, you can actually have heart arrhythmias and die from low magnesium. So extra important. We get it from the same things that are rich in fiber: nuts, seeds, beans, green leafies. Those are great fiber sources and magnesium sources.
All right. So there you go. So far, so good?
Yeah.
So far, so easy, right? No supplements. I mean, he's okay with them, but if you can avoid them, you can get everything he's talking about either for free because it's sunlight or air.
Yeah.
Oxygen and vitamin D, both free, by the way.
So far.
Or in foods like vegetables, fruits, beans, nuts, and fish.
And I've never heard of anybody address magnesium before. I've never heard a doctor
Never heard that before.
talk about
Never heard.
magnesium.
And where is it? In the nuts,
fiber.
the beans. Yeah.
That's right.
Same thing. Now, I've only been focusing on the things that he said in the book that you should have. Here's a couple things he says you should not have. I am real guilty about ingesting these things. Here they are.
The two biggest ones, I would say, number one is refined carb, as in sugar, and I'll even say flour. That's the big surprise. When you grind a grain into flour, it acts just like blood sugar in your system. So really, we want to avoid flour, sugar. And number two is the hydrogenated trans fats. I call those embalming fluid.
Well, that's what he calls them.
I eat those.
But I mean, but we all do. We all do. Every day. They're sitting on the counter out there.
Yeah,
Right?
I know. I love
So
that.
you have the sugar and the flour, and boom, hello. The two things he says to stay away from are in almost everything.
Yeah.
I'm a big sucker for bread. I have a hard time going through the day without some bread. I love Kaiser rolls. It's probably my weakest point. All right. So now this is a doctor. He's Dr. Stephen Masley. His book is called The 30-Day Heart Tune-Up. I've got two more sound bites and just got a couple minutes left in this segment here. I'm just trying to show you what I found when trying to figure out what to say about this supplement that was recommended to me when I decided, you know what, let me see what doctors have to say, and this is what this doctor has to say. So he's a doctor. He's been working with his patients for a while. Here are some of the results of some of his patients, 21 seconds long.
We've done randomized clinical trials. So we actually know when we have people follow this program, they're fitter, trimmer, they lose weight, they're mentally sharper, their brain and executive performance improves. And we've had hundreds of patients shrink their artery plaque by 10%. That means about 10 years of age.
Please remember, he's not selling anything. This doctor is not on the air with one thing for you to send money in for.
Yeah.
He's telling you to go to the grocery store and buy the healthy foods. He's telling you to go to the grocery store and stay away from the not so healthy foods. He's telling you to get out into the sun. He's telling you to walk around for a half hour every day, almost every day. He doesn't even say every day.
No, almost.
And he's telling you to breathe deeply.
Yeah.
Breathe deeply. All right, one more soundbite, and this basically is the cream, the frosting. Oh, the frosting has got sugar in it. We don't want that. Following these things, in his opinion, will turn back the clock. How many of you want your clock turned back?
Yeah, a lot of people
How
do.
many? How many want to feel better? Here we go. Here's the last soundbite. It's only 11 seconds long.
We are turning back the clock on aging, all aspects, but in particular cardiovascular aging, I think, because that's the number one killer. To me, it makes that, along with brain health, the most important.
All right. So that's the bottom line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Making your heart healthy, which is exactly what the letter said I could do with this supplement. I'm telling you that we are not experts, but we speak to them all the time. And this particular doctor I wasn't able to get because I found...
Stay informed.
Stop it. I found out about it at about, 11? No, I wasn't up at 11. Maybe 8:30 last night.
Yeah.
It was 11:30 for me.
Yeah.
All right. We've got to move forward, and Fox News is coming up, and then we're going to have fun with Joe.
Yeah.
In about 15 minutes. All right. This is the Source WOCA. I hope all of that made some difference for somebody out there. If nobody else, maybe for me. Mm-hmm. All right. This is WOCA Ocala. We'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. President Obama's in Brussels, Belgium, for meetings with other world leaders that were supposed to take place in Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin's disinvited after the takeover of Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula. President Obama earlier in Warsaw, Poland.
We will not accept Russia's occupation of Crimea or its violation of Ukraine's sovereignty. Our free nations will stand united so that further Russian provocations will only mean more isolation and costs for Russia.
He had just met with Ukraine's President-elect Petro Poroshenko. Mississippi's Republican Senate primary looks to be headed for a runoff June 24th.
Tea Party-backed State Senator Chris McDaniel with a slight lead over six-term Senator Thad Cochran, but not enough to avoid a runoff. If Cochran loses on the 24th, he would become the first incumbent U.S. Senator to be ousted in Mississippi since 1942.
Fox's John Roberts in Jackson. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
On March 3rd last year, Henry W. faced his own death with incredible courage. He wasn't in an accident. He wasn't ill. He wasn't in any danger. But he faced this reality head on. If he died, his wife and children wouldn't be able to pay the mortgage, make the car payments, or keep up the life they'd had. His family would lose everything. So he picked up the phone and called AIG Direct. He found out that through AIG Direct, he could get a $250,000 life insurance policy for less than $14 a month. Now, he knows that he's helped make his family's future secure, no matter what happens to him.
Protecting your family with coverage through AIG Direct is fast, easy, and incredibly affordable. Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now. 1-800-425-0474. That's 1-800-425-0474.